Hello there and welcome to our 200th video. I cannot believe that we have released 200 videos on YouTube, which is incredible. That means that you guys are enjoying this and it seems like we can never run out of topics to talk about. So I hope that you're finding this helpful and I can't wait to get into today's video, but I just wanted to call that out and say thank you guys for following us and watching all these videos because we put a lot into them. And I just wanted to celebrate that this is video number 200. Now in today's video, we're going to talk about maximizing Pell Grant money. So if you are trying to figure out how to pay for college, you've probably heard this term, Pell Grant. If not, you've probably heard of FAFSA, okay? And that is all related with the Pell Grant. Now, the Pell Grant is one of the most popular forms of financial aid, and it does not need to be paid back, unlike student loans. So this is a type of money that if families can tap into, it's very beneficial since it doesn't come with a huge student loan bill. Now, here's the thing though, not everyone qualifies. There are specific requirements and just aspects that we need to understand to find out if our student would qualify or if they will get it year after year. And one thing I do want to note is that just because a student doesn't get it one year doesn't necessarily mean they won't get it in a following year if your family's financial situation changed. So that said, whether your student is just starting out, maybe they're still in high school and you're figuring this out, or if they're already in college and you're trying to figure it out, this is something that is a strategy all the way until they graduate from college. So let's make sure that you're not leaving money on the table. Now, make sure you hit subscribe because every week I have a new strategy for you and your family to work towards that debt-free degree. Hey there, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System, where we teach families overwhelmed by the cost of college how to secure scholarships so that their student can graduate debt-free. And actually, as of this most recent school year, we've helped families secure over $15 million in scholarships. So we have seen quite a lot. Just a quick note, this video is geared towards U.S. citizens and permanent residents. This does not pertain to international students. So what is the Pell Grant? The Pell Grant is a form of federal financial aid, and it's geared towards helping low and moderate income families pay for college. It is based on financial need. It is not grade-based or achievement-based. And if you want to learn more about the money need-based versus merit-based, I do have a video all about scholarship money, everything you need to know, and all the different types. So you can click on that here, or you will find the link in the description. All the free resources I'm going to mention today and in the video will be linked below. Now, the maximum award amount for a Pell Grant changes every year. As of this most recent year, 2025, 2026, it was almost $7,400 for the school year. Now, many students will receive less than that. So it can be on any kind of range of a dollar amount. It's not like you get either all of it or none of it. This is based on a student's SAI, Student Aid Index, what used to be called the EFC. For anyone that's been in this world for a few years, it used to be expected family contribution. Lastly, like I mentioned, the Pell Grant does not have to be paid back. So let's talk about who qualifies for Pell Grant money. So not everyone is eligible again, but it is important to understand what requirements they have to fulfill to stay eligible if this is money that your student can get. So first and foremost, it is for an undergraduate degree. So once your student earns a bachelor's degree, they can no longer tap into this money. Secondly, they have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent eligible non-citizen, which is a legal residence. So legal residency is required. The third point is maintaining satisfactory academic progress. So we have videos on this as well you can find, but it's overall maintaining a certain GPA as well as completing enough credit hours in a semester or school year. And lastly, they have to be enrolled in an eligible program, degree, or certification program. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in person. Online can work as well, but it does have to be accredited. Now you might be wondering, okay, how do we get this maximum amount? So again, the amount is determined by the SAI, the Student Aid Index. So the Student Aid Index is a result of the FAFSA form that everyone should submit no matter what, but that includes families' income, assets, number of people in the household. It used to be tons of questions. Now it's narrowed down to 30, but this helps determine what a family's SAI is. Then also it takes into consideration cost of attendance, COA. So each school has a different price tag, of course, and Pell Grant amounts are adjusted based on how expensive the school is. So this is where a student aid index, an SAI, the result from FAFSA, actually can mean very different offers at different schools. This is why we don't want to just apply to one school and say, okay, daughter or son or dependent, that's the school you pick and we're just going to go there. We want to at least see what our results are for different schools because they can vary even though the SAI stays the same. Enrollment status, full-time students do get more money than part-time students. And then attending full year versus part year. So if they only attend one semester, then of course they'll receive less Pell Grant money. So let's talk about maximizing Pell Grant. Just a few steps on how to do that. First and foremost is to file FAFSA. And if we do, file it early. So FAFSA opens up October 1st, typically. It's varied a little bit over the years, but it should open October 1st of your student's senior year in high school. And then we want to submit it every year thereafter because, like I said, it's based on financials and those actually do change year over year. Now, some of this money is first come, first serve, and that is where we want to make sure that we are submitting it as close to that October 1st day as possible. It doesn't have to be the first week or even first 2 weeks, but I would say by the end of November for sure. We do not want to wait until school deadlines or until the tax deadline like people used to do. Secondly is to choose schools wisely. So this is basically what I mentioned around different schools, different costs of attendances can result in different offers and of course different gaps and amounts that your family will have to borrow or if your parents have to fork out of your pocket if you're planning on paying for this. Some options could be community colleges or maybe public universities. Actually, believe it or not, some private universities might end up a better deal because they have their own funds that they can offer. They still might most likely require FAFSA for tapping into their funds, not just the government funds. And of course, comparing financial aid packages when choosing the schools. Again, the same number for FAFSA can lead to very different offers from different schools. Now, one thing to note is that if we're eligible for Pell Grant money, or even if we're not, no matter what, we can always bring in scholarship dollars to go in addition to it or to get scholarship dollars if we don't get Pell Grant money. So we always want to apply for scholarships as well. We do not just want to rely on this. Like I said, the maximum amount is only $7,400. So that is definitely not going to cover the whole bill for anyone. So if you want to secure scholarships and follow my steps to finding legitimate ones with less competition, then you can go to thescholarshipsystem.com/free training, or you can register. Let's see here. You should click that video. The link should be here. And we'll also put the link in the description. All right, so the next way to maximize this money is to stay enrolled full time. So making sure that your child, your student attends college and does the whatever number of classes, typically at least 4, ideally 5, are required to maintain that full-time status. This is something that if they take too long to graduate from college, they will no longer receive it. So we really want to maximize the time that we're getting this money as well. The next step is to make sure that they maintain satisfactory academic progress, of course. They want to know what the requirements are for that, maintain the GPA that's required, maintain the number of credit hours, like I mentioned earlier. And if they're falling off that track, get help while we can. So there are a lot of programs that schools offer if we are falling off the SAP for the school's requirements. And so making sure that your students taking advantage of that if they are. The last step is kind of a bonus step. And this one, many families don't realize is that there can be Pell Grant money for summer. So if your student's interested in summer, then maybe they will want to take advantage of Pell Grants. So it means that they'd have to take at least 6 credit hours over the summer. And that could possibly make them eligible for Pell Grant money. This could be a great way to catch up on some credits or to maybe graduate early and save on an entire semester or school year of tuition and expenses. All right. Now, the last thing I want to do is just very quickly list off some common mistakes to avoid with maximizing Pell Grant. And one is missing FAFSA deadlines. We've seen this happen. We've seen students miss out on thousands and thousands of dollars. We do not want that to happen. Second is to check any eligibility requirements, making sure, again, that your students matching those so that they don't lose the money. And then third, do not assume that this will cover everything. Like I said, it is going to be a drop in the bucket. We really need to make sure we're maximizing all types of funds, including those scholarships, like I mentioned, where you can attend that free webinar at thescholarshipsystem.com/free webinar to learn how to find those that can go along with this. Now, comment below, did your student receive Pell Grant, or did you have to negotiate for more money? I would love to hear your experience with that. Or did you never hear of this? Maybe this is new for you. If so, comment below. So just to recap, the Pell Grant is an amazing resource if our student is eligible. It doesn't have to be paid back. It's debt-free money to help pay for college, but there are some rules involved and ways to maximize it. So we want to make sure that we are playing by the rules and tapping into this money in addition to all the other types of money that we cover at the scholarship system. So again, if you haven't hit subscribe, make sure you do that, because every week we have a new strategy for you and your family to work towards a debt-free degree. All right, I will see you in the next video.